Well, I'm a little torn on how to proceed because if you're a new subscriber, you'll be totally lost. But if you're a bit of an older subscriber, it's not really much of anything new. Again, let's get right to it. So Serge formally left the SPTV Foundation board a while ago. He didn't really quite say why, just didn't feel like he was wanted. So he's put out a video giving more details, but really it's still very, very vague. So the specifics, as far as I know, is that he and his quote gay husband, Michael, who is not in Scientology, by the way, he's not an ex Scientologist. So he feels that he and Michael are not being treated very well by Aaron and the SPTV Foundation board, and that there are other concerns, to be fair. But that's the basic gist. It's that mainly him and Michael, but he feels that protesters, streamers, and others have not really been, what's the word, taken care of properly by Aaron and the SPTV Foundation board. So we'll play a short snippet of Serge, which I hope is representative because, as usual, Serge is high on the rhetoric, but when it comes to actual analysis, he doesn't really say anything.
Met with indifference. This is especially troubling given that SPTV is and was comprised of people actively denouncing the abuses by live streaming them to the community. Such indifference, coupled by a total unwillingness to hear feedback and engage in constructive problem solving, challenges a board should have been known they were taking. In my opinion, is entirely unbecoming of a board that calls itself SPTV.
Well, I got to be honest, when I first looked at the video and saw the viewer count, I was a little depressed because I think I put out more substantive content, frankly, than Serge. But I'm not here to get into the jealousy of whatever money or influence, but I was surprised pleasantly, but in a weird way, that a lot of the comments were defending Aaron, which was depressing. But luckily, some people were taking up kind of a third position, but only a few people, which is they're being skeptical of what Serge is saying and what Aaron is saying. But I found it shocking that Serge, in these comments, is admitting what we already knew for about a year is that, yeah, Aaron deliberately created a new cult after he was kicked off the Aftermath Foundation and that charity. So if you're coming into this new, let me give the very, very brief history. But basically, Aaron was friends for a long time with Mike Rinder. Rinder, Claire Headley, and others were in charge of the Aftermath Foundation. But Aaron, which he did, he got himself involved with a lot of scandals, a lot of problems. And again, all these people are corrupt. I'm not saying Aaron is, quote, necessarily, quote, more evil. He's just more blatant than they are. So they pushed him off that charity. He began a new foundation, and he's calling it a charity, but it's not. And Serge was one of the friends he put on the board. So right away, Aaron's response to, quote, a corrupt foundation is create my own corrupt foundation. And now Serge is complaining, oh, this foundation is very corrupt. What I found astonishing was one admission in particular. And again, I don't know if he's going to erase the comment, so I'll try to find it and post it. But he said they never looked at the actual books. In other words, even though he's a board member, they didn't give him access to the actual financial situation of the foundation. So he says no comment there. Now, is he lying? I don't know. But the basic fact is Aaron has not been public or transparent. What is the foundation really? How does it work? How much money does it have? He's given some information. He says it has $60,000. It has helped a few people. He says about a dozen people have been helped. Right? And to the Aaron defenders, again, I would like some clarification. They're saying, oh, the foundation was set up to help the exes and get them out of sign. That is not what the SPD Foundation says. It just says we're a voice for some ex-Scientologists. It says they will try to help people, but really it doesn't really seem to have a mission statement at all. It's all very vague. And cutting through all the illusions, at the end of the day, where does the money go? The money goes to Aaron. Who controls the money? I don't know. I would assume it's Jenna and Aaron. And by the way, Jenna and Aaron are in an erotic relationship with one another. And Aaron, to this day, is still married formally. I think he says he's separated, but even that, I don't even know if that's true. So he's literally with him and his mistress, and they're hoarding the cash. Now, to be fair, We do know for a fact he has not kept the money. He has given some money, right? He gave some money to Liz Ferris. She confirmed that. But really, there's no transparency. So who is giving money to this foundation when we don't even know what it's about? It just has this label, SPTV Foundation. What does that mean? Don't know. And so it's just hilarious. And the board and the way it's composed has lost a lot of members. So this is all just silly talk by Serge. The idea that I just woke up, I found out it was corrupt. It's been corrupt since it was created, right? The problem is Aaron is just getting greedy and wants to keep the corrupt foundation for himself, which is like newsflash, right? That's what corrupt people do. It's also hilarious that even though Serge is saying all this, oh, Aaron, he's not listening, oh, he's out of touch, oh, he's a cult leader. He went on Aaron's channel to complain about Lincoln Park. You can double check the dates yourself. The fact is, we just don't know what is happening with the money, how it's being spent, who is responsible for where the money goes, and to who for what reason. It's all very, very murky. What I find is a little hilarious is the Aaron defender saying, well, it was never really set up to help the protesters or the streamers. Oh, that's a separate thing. What I found astonishing about this is that that's what they're saying, right? They're just making this stuff out of nowhere, to use some brutal, little rough language. They're pulling it out of their ass. They're just pulling the stuff out of their ass. They're just coming up with these defenses that even Aaron has not articulated. He just says now, oh, I'm ignoring the protesters. No, he's not. He's still supporting Streets LA. So it's not true. Basically, what happened is some of the protesters started asking questions, right? And maybe they did want financial support. Maybe they did want help with their court cases. They wanted the money. Well, yeah, I mean, they're supporting the foundation, and technically they are stakeholders. So that's a legit question. I mean, it was pretty shockingly obvious from the beginning. I mean, not a single prominent protesters was on the board. I was actually going to do this video, and I just never got around to it. I'm probably still going to do it. Is that, yeah, the foundation never really had any representative of the protesters. It was just Aaron's friends. That's it. Like, what is this board made of? It's made of Aaron's lover and his friends. That's it. So you say, what qualifies him to be on the board? They're his friends. That's it. So he's not really close friends with DOA. He's not on the board. He's not close friends with Streets LA. He's not on the board. So he had people on the board who were just his close friends. Even after this summer, when Aaron was exposed to be abusing some ex-lovers and ex-girlfriends, this is all a bunch of fraud. This is just the amount of shifting and contortions is wild. It is wild. So basically, this is not hard to understand. We've gone from one big cult, right? The Render cult, which included Aaron and Serge for a while. Now the Aaron cult is breaking down. Now Serge wants his own cult. And I'm pretty sure Marissa will officially announce her cult soon enough. So it's just a bunch of silly nonsense. We've gone from this massive big cult to these smaller cults. That's it. There's nothing else to see here. It's really plain to see. Now, if they want to have you join their cult, fine. Just say that, right? If they want to create echo chambers, right? Miriam Francis wants her echo chamber. Serge wants his echo chamber. Aaron wants his echo chamber. So be it. But stop with all this whining and the survivors and the trauma and the yeah, all that may be true. It's not relevant. What is the real goal? At least Render, frankly, was upfront. He wanted to go to Hollywood, make millions and millions of dollars, and pretend to help people. And he did actually help some people in some cases. But the main goal was push a certain image, make himself money, and pretend to fight Scientology. So unless you were totally stupid, you kind of knew, yeah, it's mostly Hollywood flash. There's nothing else here. What's really shocking is these people pretending we're so different. No, you're not. No, you're not. Serge has gone to a few protests. For the most part, he just does videos in his studio, right? I mean, look at his actual video productions. It's beyond stupid and nonsense. Like, that is not serious activism. That is not protesting. That isn't even good artistic protesting. That's fine if you want to be an artist and use your art as a form of protest, but there's no connective tissue. It is just bizarro nonsense. It's like Aaron is pushing the MAGA cult stuff on his channel, right? And Serge is going to push the gay fascist stuff on his channel. It's all just silly nonsense. It's just different cults, different flavors, little details change. It's just propaganda messages. That's all it is. There ain't nothing really to see. So Serge complained about, oh, they're corruptions. It's like, corruption what? You're a part of the corruption. You're not the solution to the problem. You are the problem. So there's really not much commentary here, frankly. It is just the same thing, slightly different flavor, but it's the same old garbage, frankly.